In the headlines to the CBC NewsNight, over 200 fishing vessels affected by Hurricane Beryl uninsured. A new air service launch between Barbados and Puerto Rico. A project in the works for a better understanding of the island's contribution to the production of the sugar and rum industries. And Arthur Smith crowned primary school football champions.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening. With the details to the CBC NewsNight, I'm Wendy Burke. 90% of the fishing boats affected by Hurricane Beryl are uninsured, which has consequences for the government. This is according to Minister of Home Affairs and Information, Wilfred Abrams. He was delivering a ministerial statement in the House of Assembly following the passage of the weather system on July 1st. Rachel Agard has more in this report.
As at July 5th, 209 boats have been affected by Hurricane Beryl. Minister of Home Affairs Wilfred Abrams says this has a direct impact on 560 people. He says though Barbados is at the end of the fishing season, it is not yet clear how long it will take to get half of the fleet back into operation.
At the time of this report, 200 boats were recorded as having received some form of damage to their structure, and 9 boats were confirmed by surveyors as total losses in the BFC. Prior to the passing of Hurricane Beryl, approximately 312 registered boats were active across the island for 2024, and this is based on information from the data collectors, with the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex accounting for 175 of these vessels and Oystins 21.
Of the hundreds of vessels damaged or lost, ice boats are the most affected. That number stands at 108. As of July 7th, 114 boats have been removed from the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex. 29 were scheduled to be lifted yesterday and today. Additionally, 13 vessels were able to move on their own to the careenage. Cleaning has also started in the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex as of yesterday.
Of all the statistics that I gave you, sir, one of the most striking is that of the affected boats, 90% of them were uninsured. While longer-term solutions are sought to provide more resilient infrastructure for the fisheries sector, in the face of increasing vagaries associated with the climate crisis, I can give the assurance that everything will be done to provide relief in the short term to the hundreds of persons directly affected by these events.
The minister says the fish aggregator devices installed to help fishermen by attracting fish to particular locations were also damaged. Mr. Abrams also gave an update on the damaged 12-inch outfall line for the South Coast Sewerage Project.
The 12-inch pipe has been re-anchored to the ground, is being secured back to the ground, and the seabed, and we're in the process of shoring up the anchor blocks on it, but it is back now into the position it's supposed to be in. For those who are asking, do we expect to see sewage back up on the streets of Barbados again? No, not under our watch.
Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Earlier, parliamentarians debated legislation to prevent, reduce and control pollution from ships. The introduction of the Marine Transport Emissions Control Bill follows the recent passing of the Domestic Vessels Bill and other legislation. Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Ian Gooding-Edgell, says it's part of an effort by Barbados to ensure it satisfies the requirements of the International Maritime Organization.
To achieve these goals, of course, the IMO has detailed a framework with the MARPOL Convention at Annex 6, in which a combination of technical, operational, and market-based measures are imposed on ships. This legislation, by giving force of law to the IMO climate change instrument, will chart the course for Barbados to effectively tackle shipping-related climate change impacts. This bill, of course, Mr. Speaker, is a solution-based bill.
Opposition leader Ralph Thorne supports the legislation. He says it brings important provisions to protect the marine environment.
Any initiative to protect this marine environment against pollution, and not only the marine environment, but to protect this land space from pollution is a noble initiative, and I want to support the legislation, I want to support the initiative, and I want to congratulate the minister.
Some more news about Hurricane Beryl. A week after the system hit the southern Grenadines, the trauma of the deadly Category 4 hurricane is still being felt as the islands look to clean up and rebuild. In Maro, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, relief items and construction materials are needed. Crystal Hoyt has more.
It was a scary experience.
Jillian Alexander Lewis brought to tears as she recounts surviving Hurricane Beryl.
I live here, me and my husband, and when the water started surging, we decided to leave and go to his parents' house to the top. Then we start hearing the galvanize start flying off, they letting go, and then the rafter start shaking like it, that also was going to just lift off. When it calmed down a bit, we tried to get out to go downstairs by his sister, and there were loads of galvanized by the steps. There were trees there blocking us, so we could not move. Then the wind started again. It was just horrible.
The 39-year-old Vincentian says she's never experienced a hurricane this devastating.
Houses, concrete houses just fall to the ground. It was like something just out of the world, you know. It was just unbelievable.
While no lives were lost on Miro, 4 people were injured, 2 critical. Bryce Wagner, community leader, tells us what the people here so desperately and urgently need.
We need to get as many people off the island as possible. We haven't had many leave yet. The population, we've got about 360 people. We've got 14 babies. We need to get the elderly off the island, the young moms and the babies first. Right now, we need urgent supplies. We need water. We need tarps. We're going to need construction supplies. A week from now, people are going to forget about this hurricane. They're going to look at another war. We need sheet metal. We need plywood, enough for 67 houses.
He says Miro will rebuild better, stronger, and more resilient. Reporting from Miro, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines now has more than 700 people in 40 shelters. Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, SEDIMA, Elizabeth Riley, who is on the ground at Union Island doing assessments, gives an update.
With respect to mainland St. Vincent, we can confirm that there are approximately 40 shelters open with 755 shelterees. Relief supplies are being distributed to affected communities, not just in mainland St. Vincent, but also in the Grenadines. And the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines continues its close collaboration with regional as well as international partners. With respect to the Grenadine Islands, as you can well imagine, the damage assessment process is now very well underway.
She also spoke to the damage on Union Island and the other nearby islands, which is sheer devastation.
There has been approximately 98% damage to buildings and structures on the island, and this includes with respect to housing. Approximately 95% damage to buildings and structures on Petit, St. Vincent, as well as Canouan. And we know that about 30% of the population on Bequia has been impacted, and a similar percentage for mainland St. Vincent. 100% of the persons on Union Island, Canouan, have been in fact impacted as well. And of course, the priority needs of the states has been changing somewhat.
Barbadians now have a new option for affordable flights within the region. It comes with the creation of a Frontier Airlines service between Barbados and Puerto Rico.
Just in time for summer, low-cost carrier Frontier Airlines has launched a thrice-weekly non-stop service between Barbados and Puerto Rico. The inaugural flight touched down at the Grantley Adams International Airport on July 6 to much fanfare. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, Andrea Franklin, has welcomed the development.
New service from Frontier Airlines not only opens up the Northern Caribbean to Barbados, but it also opens up gateways from the USA with connections through Puerto Rico, which we welcome as an additional market, an additional route into the island. Especially at this time as we go into summer with crop over, this is a welcome opportunity for persons to take advantage of the low-cost carrier with the connecting airfares via Puerto Rico to Barbados.
Senor Fernando Vasquez of Frontier Airlines hopes the new route will restore the frequency of travel between the two countries.
I remember the days that this used to be a very heavy traffic among the two countries, Puerto Rico and Barbados, and we're really looking forward to have that traffic again.
And he says there's a possibility even more flights could be added.
Come here every day. You know, that's something we should keep in our mind as we progress with the loads of the flights, which we are looking forward to be a very successful one, especially for women that want to go and buy things in San Juan. It's our, you know, we're really looking forward to keep adding more flights.
Currently, flights are scheduled for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Approximately 3,500 youngsters will have the opportunity to develop critical life skills over the summer. This as the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment moves to host 46 camps across the island. This year will see the introduction of a camp for people with disabilities in partnership with the National Disabilities Unit, as well as Experience Enterprise with the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme. The Next Step Training Initiative will also be hosting 10 arts camps and 2 digital media camps, along with camp employing minds to help young people prepare for the world of work. Minister Griffith says 700 people have already registered for the camps.
These camps are not art and craft camps, but full developmental camps in terms of how we treat to our youngsters. If government do not put things in place that will help our young people to grow, then the streets will put those things in place.
Mr. Griffith adds some private sector entities have already partnered with the ministry and urges more to come on board.
This camps program was approved by cabinet, so a budget is in place. But I would have mentioned before, in some cases, private sector came on board to partner with us, and we are still open to persons who would want to sponsor part of the programs. You heard the director of the National Sports Council mention the cost recovery attached to their program. So if there are entities out there who would want to contribute sponsoring some of the youngsters who are involved in the camps, then we are open to that as well.
Coming up, police probe the death of a woman in St. Philip. Police are on the scene of an unnatural death in Work Hall, St. Philip. They say around 3:40 p.m. they received a report from ambulance personnel stating there was a female at her residence with multiple injuries and no sign of life. Police have revealed a person of interest is in custody and investigations are ongoing. This is the 26th recorded homicide for 2024. A Christchurch man who was the subject of a recent police wanted bulletin has been remanded to Dodds Prison. 43-year-old Dwayne Hallam Drakes of Rollins Road, Silver Sands, appeared in court over the weekend to answer to the charges of endangering the life of Adrian Lewis and unlawful use of a firearm. The acts were committed on June 24th. Drakes is expected to return to court on July 11th. Meanwhile, the Barbados Police Service wants the public to help them locate a missing man. He is 71-year-old Anthony de Courcy Coward of Airy Hill, St. Joseph. Police say the elderly man left home around noon on Friday and has not been seen since. Coward is about 5 feet 7 inches tall and slim. He has a pleasant manner and is said to be in the early stages of dementia. He's known to frequent Venture St. John. Coward was last seen walking in the direction of Lamming St. Joseph wearing a white polo shirt, a dark 3/4 pants and slippers. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Anthony DeCourcy Coward is asked to contact the District F Belplain Police Station at 433-1540, Police Emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477, or any police station. Barbados is embarking on a project to document the country's windmills. It's being done to get a better understanding of the island's contribution to the production of sugar and rum. Special Advisor on Culture and Cultural Heritage in the Division of Culture in the Prime Minister's Office, Senator John King, says it's critical to document the legacy of the use of the windmills.
At a point in time, Barbados had, and a lot of people might not know this little fun fact, that Barbados had per capita the most windmills in the world after Holland. Imagine that. Wow. We're over 500 on this island. And as part and parcel of our, again, heritage, we're looking at the technological side of the production of sugar, the production of rum. And the windmill plays such a significant part. And as we're talking about energy and energy efficiency and all these things today, and we're coming back to the windmills again, we want to make sure that we can document what we have left.
Assistant Coordinator and Researcher with the National Register of Historical Places, Rihanna Smith, explains how the team will conduct its documentation.
Since, the Morgan Lewis windmill is the only full and complete working windmill in Barbados, what we're looking for is for the mill wall. Not particularly the windmill with the rollers. We are looking for these structures that were probably made of stone, which ascend into the air by a good set of feet, which are indicative that work was being done within that area.
A U.S.-based charity founded by a Barbadian has expanded its reach in the Caribbean. St. Lucia and Antigua and Barbuda are the latest countries to benefit from the goodwill of the Robinson Smiles and Hope Foundation Incorporated. As part of its fundraising and in a celebration of philanthropy and solidarity, the charity recently hosted its 9th annual Caribbean in White Party in Baltimore, USA. Patrons were treated to performances by St. Lucian entertainer Invader and Barbadian artist Mr. Blood. Founder of the charity, Julia Robinson, says funds collected will go towards several initiatives in the Caribbean.
We have 4 initiatives: education, healthcare, nutrition, and what's the other one? Social development. So we thank you. For the past 15 years, like I said, we've been giving back to Barbados because that's where I'm from. So you guys know home drums beat first, right? So we've been giving back to Barbados for the past 15 years. Medical supplies, school supplies, hospital supplies, you name it. We have just turned our efforts to St. Lucia. So that's where we are giving back.
Nothing is unachievable for Damian Hall. He's so invested in the sport that he's now a fully accredited Formula One correspondent with The Voice newspaper based in the United Kingdom. Rachel Agard caught up with Mr. Hall ahead of his trip to the British Grand Prix, and this is what he had to say.
Damian Hall is living the dream as a Formula One correspondent. Mr. Hall tells CBC News he has always had a passion for Formula One racing and engages in Sims racing in his spare time. In his late teens, he was an audio engineer and music producer for CRS Digital and even tried interviewing at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation but was unsuccessful. Mr. Hall admits the dream to become a full-fledged reporter was paused as he moved on to become an officer in the Royal Barbados Police Force. As fate would have it, he saw the opportunity to hone his report writing skills while there.
I left the service and started my own company, Creative Drones Inc. We provide a lot of drone services, roof inspections, the traditional videography, photography, and a lot of different applications. But being on my own, then it left me a little bit more room to look at other passions that I had. And that one of the other passions was motorsport and Formula One.
A chance meeting saw Mr. Hall being introduced to the editor of The Voice newspaper based in the UK. He presented his idea, was given a trial in Miami, knocked it out of the park, and the rest is history. Mr. Hall has covered every race since May and has been to the Canadian Grand Prix, the Miami Grand Prix, the recently concluded British Grand Prix, with hopes of going on to Hungary.
It still hasn't sunk in as yet, but it is an exciting experience because it went from like the same type of reports that were just put into WhatsApp groups and have these long rants about races or whatever, and now it translates over into like a real thing. So it's an exciting experience, and then being there, being part of the whole experience of Formula One, instead of like moving from watching it on television and actually being there and experiencing all there is about Formula One, because more than just what's on track, there's a lot to experience. I kind of cover that in some of my features and try to invite people into the experience.
And while Mr. Hall has experienced firsthand what fans enjoy at all race circuits, he is looking forward to getting up close and personal with renowned F1 racer Sir Lewis Hamilton at the British Grand Prix. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Sports time now, and I say good evening to Mark Seal in the Sports Center. What do you have in store for us?
Very good evening, Wendy. And we're going to start with football, where Arthur Smith are the new champions of the BICO National Sports Council's Primary Schools competition. They defeated Hillaby's Turner's Hall in the final today at Orange Hill, which also saw the match for third place. The third place playoff was first, and West Terrace Tigers were first on the score sheet. This long throw-in was a strong one that left St. Cyprian's scrambling to clear the pending danger. They never really did avert that danger, and West Terrace scored from this long-range shot by Zayden Haynes-Pierce, the goalie reacting too slowly to effect the save. Shots on goal were what the doctor ordered, as this long bomb from Ronnie Watson was perfectly lobbed over the flat-footed goalie, and that was now 2-0 in the 16th minute. Incidentally, not only were the Tigers the first to score, they were the only ones to score, when from a muffed attempt to clear this corner kick, Thierry Hurley got in a stab at the far post that slipped through the hands of the despairing custodian. That made it West Terrace 3, St. Cyprian's 0, for the Tigers to finish third. Now to the final, Arthur Smith in yellow took the lead on Hillaby Turner's Hall through an own goal. A throw-in towards goal was met by a header, and Antonio Griffith was also trying to head it away from danger, but his attempt to knock it out for a corner was ill-directed into the undefended net. Not a good way to start a final, in fact not a good way to start any game. Arthur Smith doubled their lead in the 19th minute. Hillaby Turner's Hall defender did well initially to get the ball out of his team's area, showing good dribbling skills, but maybe he held on to the ball too long. Eventually was dispossessed, and the cross by Arthur Smith found to share Holder Moore at the far post. That's 2-0, and it marked a long way back for Hillaby. Second half, 22nd minute, and Arthur Smith would triple their advantage. Richey Edwards would start this play, swinging it towards the left flank, and he would stay with the play to get the first shot on goal, which was initially saved, but he was also there for the rebound, which he buried. That's 3-0, and that's how it ended. Arthur Smith, the 2024 champions of the BICO Primary Schools football competition. Uncapped opener Mikael Louis is set to make his international debut as West Indies announced the starting 11 for the first test against England at Lord's, starting tomorrow morning. Louis is the first player from St. Kitts and Nevis to wear the maroon colours. West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite says other youth players should use Louis' achievement as motivation.
You know, last season gone, obviously he did extremely well with the bat, and he batted long as well. He batted some long periods. He showed a lot of fight. He puts away the ball when it's a bad ball. But he's a nice guy, very joyful spirit, and I know he'll do extremely well.
Meanwhile, all-rounder Jason Holder, who missed the Test series in Australia earlier this year due to other commitments, will return to the West Indies playing 11. Brathwaite says Holder is an asset to the team as he'll be slotted in to bat at number 6.
Jason obviously has a lot of experience, and it's always good to have him in the group. a lot of younger guys look up to him, and he always is there to offer advice. So it's great to have him, and I know he'll be looking forward to leading from the front with this young group as well.
The Business Report, brought to you by the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, a department of the Ministry of Youth and Community Empowerment, supporting young entrepreneurs from idea to enterprise.
In tonight's business report, there's a new buzz around. It's coming from Chemist Organic Honey Farms. Trevor Thorpe spoke to the creator and owner, Zachary Lynch.
The beekeeper says his passion for beekeeping started from observing a former neighbor who owned hives. He says many people like bees and are fascinated by them, but never get the opportunity to get close to them. He explains why he created Chemist Organic Honey Farms.
Chemist Organic Honey Farms, it produces and we supply a variety of different options, as in I actually make candles, soaps, I provide natural honey and honeycomb as well, and I do beehive removal services, and I also train and help others to become beekeepers. I got started in 2010 with the late Rudy Gibson that just recently passed too as well, and I first started with him, and I have never had an idea about dealing with bees or had any idea about bees at all until I started working with him. So then I just educated myself with the books and the other stuff that he had and gained more knowledge from him. So from that time, 2010 till now, till 2017, was when I was really focusing on studying, and then 2017 is when I actually registered and became my own entrepreneur.
Mr. Lynch says preparing for stings comes with the territory.
It's a normal thing. Things be always buzzing in your brain, so it'd be like that sometimes. But I just get up and go with the flow for the day, and it'd be like that. And most of the time, we're actually going to do beehive removal services, which is be more regular than some. We have a lot of bees, but much people don't really get to see them, but there's a lot of bees that we have. So getting up in the morning and starting yourself for a day, you start yourself to prepare for some stings.
The beekeeper says every day is different with bees.
The whole hive consists of just a normal working environment, a daily basis around the lifestyle. You got the bees that is protect the hive, the sanitation bees, which is make sure the hive is clean, the worker bees, which is go and pollinate the flowers, bring back in the nectar and stuff, and then it's the other bees down that don't do nothing, which is the males. And that'd be only a particular time, but a hive would be consists of 99 females, 99% is the females.
He notes the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme has played a pivotal role in the success of his enterprise so far.
Yes, they had a great part and a major role by helping you get your business out there, having special events where you could bring your products and sell and got them on display, helping you all with flyers and business cards to just randomly push them anywhere you can. And I think it's a great thing because it did actually help me with business management, how to manage yourself, how to sustain certain works around the area, how to take care of yourself, how to speak, how to carry on around, how to have a serious conversation. And it's very useful. If we could go back, I will go back again to do something else.
Mr. Lynch says he's strengthening his position in the local market.
The business number would be 624-3119. And my cell phone number would be 247-1762. The email address is Zach, Z-A-C-K, Cook, C-O-O-K, 38@gmail.com. The Instagram, it would be just King B 38, and the other one would be Chemist 38, which would be Facebook.
The beekeeper says local honey is creating a buzz overseas, and he'll be keeping an eye on developing markets. Trevor Thorpe for the Yes Business Report.
Let's welcome back Mark Seald in the Sports Center and get straight to that netball action you told me about.
Indeed, Wendy. Combermere and the St. Michael's School will clash in tomorrow's final of the Dasani Power Aid Under-15 Secondary Schools competition. In the semis yesterday, SMS defeated Springer, while Combermere edged Corrigan-Parry. CBC's Anmar Goodrich Boyce reports.
Springer Memorial in the yellow bibs going up against the St. Michael's School for a spot in the final. Let's pick up the action from the second quarter, and it's Springer who took advantage here. Goal shooter Kezia Whitekeel scores. But SMS had the perfect response Lovely pass from the center and goal shoot. Mikhail Alin takes care of the business. Enough time to focus and pick her spot. That's good. Springer took the second quarter by a slim margin, 8-7. Look at this play. Goal attack. Denicia Francis had 9 from 14 attempts. Let's go to the third quarter now. Springer still barely ahead. Whitekeel with another goal. She had 13 from 17. Whitekeel was definitely in the mood, and most things she touched turned to goal. This one was just too easy. But the girls from Martindale's Road were never prepared to let Springer out their sights, and Aline made certain of this. Here she is on target. In a stunning turn of events, SMS found a way to level the game at 18-all. Aline with the magic touch and in. So let's skip to overtime, where Springer seemed to have ran out of steam and SMS were fully motivated. Aline cashes in. That's brilliant. Despite having the lead for 3 of the 4 quarters, Springer found themselves up against it, and this goal from Whitekeel was too late, and too late was definitely their cry, as SMS won 25-22 to advance to the final. Second semi-final, Commermere in blue and yellow versus Courage and Parry. Commermere on the attack. Initial shot from the goal attack is off target, but goal shooter Taisha Trotman mops it up. Commermere again looking to extend the lead. Trotman's long range shot was not the best, but it drops gently to her teammate Haley Roach. She had 3 from 5. Despite falling behind, CP were up for the challenge and moved nicely around the court on this occasion. Goal shooter Tyra Griffith ensured the effort was not wasted. She bags this one. Commermere took the first quarter 7-6, while CP led the second 12-11. So let's go to the final quarters, where the action was heating up towards the business end. Trotman continued to dominate for Commermere. Here she is, another goal to her tally. She had 14 from 24. It was a goal for goal at this stage, as CP were fighting hard. Griffith again on target. Nevertheless, Commermere were more determined, and they got the better of CP 17-15. Trotman with the final touches as the girls from Waterford march into the final. Anmar Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
Former undisputed world drafts champion Ronald Suki King is in second place after 2 rounds of the Barbados Open Drafts Tournament. The first edition of the rebranded tournament, which got underway at the All Souls Church Hall on Bike Hall, saw Suki defeating the American Eric Strange 2-love, but then drew both games with arch-rival Jack Francis, as neither player took any chances. Suki is on 6 points, trailing Julian Burgess by 1 point. Burgess had a 2-love victory over Wilfred Frederick, and then went on to beat Richard Grisette 1-love to finish the night on 7 points. Defending national champion Francis started his title defense with a 1-love victory over Trevor Howell before those 2 draws against Suki.
And we have video now coming in from that murder at Work Hall, St. Philip. Police have revealed a person of interest is in custody as investigations continue into the 26th recorded homicide for 2024. Here's Superintendent Carolyn Blackman.
This evening around 15:28 hours, police officers at District C Police Station received a report from ambulance personnel that there was an incident at Work Hall in St. Philip. As a result, police officers responded quickly too, and there we encountered a female body motionless. As a result, investigations are ongoing at this stage. It is quite sensitive because we cannot relay any additional information because the family has not been informed.
Thanks for viewing. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.